Hi, I'm Ryan Mallory, and I'm here with Chris Sixkiller. And Chris and I wanted to get together and have a little show because we have some pretty interesting chats together, and we thought you might enjoy them. The show's called Shop Talk, and Chris, thanks for being here, man.
Oh, absolutely. You know, Ryan, I am so excited about actually just doing anything with you.
Thanks.
You know, yeah, I love you, brother, and it's exciting, your studio here and just what you're doing with the community and all. But I'm excited about Shop Talk in the sense of, you know, what are we going to discuss?
Right.
Because we don't know.
Right.
You know, we want this to, you know, to be, and for you guys out there that may be viewing this, we want this to be just an intimate time of getting to know one another, him and I also, but us with you. You may have some questions. Maybe you'll send Ryan a message or send myself and say, man, can you guys talk about this? You know, we'll go into more of why the acronym or why the name of shop, you know, later on. But I miss the coffee shops. I don't know about you.
Miss the coffee shops.
Yeah,
and shops in general. You know, we were talking earlier, like home improvement. That's kind of funny to me. But wood shop, auto shop, a buddy's shop. Those are traditionally a place that guys and gals kind of meet up and discuss things a lot. Barber shops are another one.
There's another shop.
Big for discussions. So, and we won't ask you to shop. We're not selling T-shirts or stickers or anything.
No, but ladies, feel free to go out and shop and support local.
Yeah.
All right, yeah.
No doubt.
Like guys don't shop.
I think between us, we've probably had 100 jobs in life, and I think it would be good to give some insight into that. What kind of jobs have you had?
You know, that's a long list.
Yeah.
From collections in the LA area, selling cable TV, you know, growing, you know, anyways, just in sales, a lot of mine. But, you know, I'll jump forward from the military. I was in the military, and as a veteran, disabled vet myself. A lot of people don't know that about me, by the way.
No, I didn't know that. What branch?
So I was in the Air Force.
Nice.
Yeah, and I had a very glorified job. So I was, you know, I'm going to give you the glorified name because it sounds so much, you know,
so cool.
So cool. It sounds very shoppy.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah. But that was Missile Aeronautical Specialist. So actually, I built the Minuteman 2 and 3 missiles and some of the, you know, hands-on peacekeeper. Computer guidance systems, you know, and I know when people, because a lot of people know Sixkiller out there, you know, and the name and Chris and well, who is he? He's the floor guy, you know, he's the cleaning dude,
right.
You know, or, you know,
you're a business guy, you're an entrepreneur for
yes,
sure.
Yeah.
Me too.
Had a motorcycle business for a while, made custom motorcycle parts, and that was part of my ministry aspect of things too, which that's a fun one. We should talk shop on that because actually I did a video for Shark Tank.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So
who was on the show at that time?
that was well, it was really the Barbara, Kevin O'Leary, and Mr. Wonderful.
Yeah, right.
And who were the other two? Because there was only 4 then.
Cuban, was he on there?
Mark Cuban.
Yeah.
Yep.
And
the security specialist guy or computer. Who was
right?
Yeah, Robert.
Yes.
Yeah. So
fun.
Yeah,
Were they polite to you?
Well, actually, I didn't quite make it on the show all the way. I just made it to the video part, and then so
they film a bunch, and then they.
Oh yeah. You got different phases and that you got to go through. So really, you start like right here.
Yeah.
You know, and but I would be over there on the other side of the table. You'd have your 3 ABC or NBC directors here, your directors, and you got to pitch. And they give you 30 seconds to captivate them.
American Idol for entrepreneurs. Huh?
And it is. And man, it was fun. It was fun.
That sounds like a great experience.
I met Jesus on out of North Hollywood on the bridge overnight. And I mean that in a beautiful way,
right.
Which there's a shop talk. There's a story to linger into if you want to hear about it sometime.
For sure. Yeah, I've spent some time in North Hollywood, and that's very interesting. I mean, it was at a very early part of my corporate career, and I was having to spend a week in LA every month, and I saw some things a country kid has never seen.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah, I enjoyed the heck out of what I experienced and saw, you know, and just heard more so. So, And that's kind of what I think, Ryan, for us with Shop Talk is just to bring, number one, we want to bring people into our conversation. We don't want to just sit here and, and share what meander about. And although I think that's important because every time we get together, which hasn't been that often in the past, but I think it's going to be more. And when we do this, spiritual talk happens, spiritual happenings happen. And we just, things just morph into something. Yeah. And wow, there's a great, nothing into something.
Yeah.
So, and that's what this is going to be all about. So.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I've had a lot of jobs. I've done everything from doing road work, flipping pizza, pumping people's gas, mechanicating cars. Finished college and got into psychology is what I went to college for.
Okay.
And I got into the corporate technical world because I really liked that stuff and ended up being blessed to manage some telecom businesses, internet service providers, and phone companies throughout Oregon and California at some point, and enjoyed that. But not as much as I enjoyed being around my family. So the entrepreneur way of life was for me.
Okay. Yes. Yeah, some of the other things I did, I started Tailgate Ministries about 12 years ago.
That's the very first time I heard about you and met you and that kind of stuff. And then another friend, Wendy, introduced us later.
Yes, yeah, Wendy.
I think it's good for people to hear what Tailgate Ministries did because you helped a lot of people for sure.
We
learned a lot of things.
Learned a ton, and those are some really great stories of what we did experience. But ultimately, we started out in the foothills of Cow Creek area, where actually it was my brother that was homeless, and he lived in a teepee up there for about 2 years. Just going there, dropping the tailgate, sit and pop out the word, read, talk, communicate with one another, and he'd have questions, and then he brought, Joe and Susie it was amazing how many people were in the woods, just, they're hiding out, hanging out, whatever, living for, homelessness. And so, but with that kind of grew into a group. We were baptizing people in the creek with ducks swimming around and, dogs splashing into us.
Beautiful.
And, it was really a beautiful time. And one of the beautiful things about it was about 45 minutes out, you lost signal. You didn't have phone, you didn't have nothing, and it was like, nobody can reach me.
People actually had to talk to each other.
People actually had to communicate with one another, and so that was probably, we did that honestly for probably at least a couple of years, and then we with the local church here saw the food bank that they had and a lot of dignity, and it was a sense of beauty and respect. All about respect, and whether you have something or you don't have anything. And so with the homeless, I'm going to gain some intel, on what really is it that is driving them to either stay on the street or get the help. Are they willing to get some help? Are they willing to work? I had all these questions, and many people have fears, about them also. And so it was awesome to move into town, so from the woods to the hood, and start serving. We fed over 90,000 people, plates, and just to gain that intel. And then we started some, shower ministries, clothing pantry with, some partners here. And anyways, it morphed into something pretty great, and ministering to people until, one day we just, that was probably 6 years later. And the Lord just told me to kind of shut it down. We had 30 volunteers, beautiful people, and but not shut it down, but move into more of an intimate setting. And so we've grown from not just feeding people, clothing people, getting people items, things, doing jobs, getting them driver's license, helping them what I call connect the dots. To
a hand up.
And a hand up, not just a hand out.
Right.
Yeah. We call it empowerment. I wanted to empower them to be able to stand on their own 2 feet. And so we moved into what you call Project Reconnect, maybe we'll talk about that some more later, but that was fun and exciting.
From the premise of teaching a man to fish rather than giving a man a fish.
Okay.
You give away some fish along the way.
Yeah.
But if you're teaching people how to lift up their life a little bit.
I've always said that was on my website, which I don't have anymore, but that was on my website. You know, teach a man to fish and he'll eat another day, right? But if you teach a man to fish and you teach him to store his fish, he'll be able to eat another day and he'll be able to feed somebody else another day too. Yeah. So, you know, to me, it's just a never ending, you know, there's always different facets to not just 1, 2 steps, 3 steps. Yeah. So,
boy, like the layers of an onion, to really understand everything about that specific population, folks that are living on the street, because there's just such I would imagine, you know more than I, a huge variety of reasons people end up on the street or out in the woods, right?
A huge variety, whether it's drugs and, you know, addictions, but whether it's even loss, you know, through a loved one, a death. You know, I remember in Eugene, she was like 87 years old, living on the streets in the tent, and she said, you know, that's where she would die. You know, but she was a ballerina. She had a well-to-do family when she was younger, and but through loss, she fell. She got, you know, ended up on the streets and just never had it in her to, you know, move past that. You know, and that's kind of a, you know, honestly, over my years of ministering with the homeless and becoming that homeless advocate, you know, people right now, they may say, "Are you still a homeless advocate?" I'm all about them, but I want to empower them to stand on their own 2 feet. And what I found was, honestly, and people, you know, may agree, and that's okay, or disagree, but was 97% weren't ready to make those changes. Right. You know, and then what is that chronic level of after they've been on the streets 3 years? Yeah. Is it just kind of, this is my life now? Is it 6 years? I found that it was about 6 years. And the people that I, you know, came in contact with, that once they reached that, it was almost not hopeless, you know, and as you know, there's a great topic is hope.
I tell you, hope's probably one of the things that I see change people's emotions entirely. From having none to having some hope is a completely different life for folks. Mm-hmm. Completely different life when you have hope. And a lot of those folks that end up out there, what percentage of them just want to be there? Like they don't want anything different than that.
Yeah.
And maybe that's okay. It's like not my decision. I consider them having free will, you know.
Yep.
But I know I've found I can run around in a lot of circles trying to help addicts get help when they aren't ready yet.
And
I think
maybe that's a better word. Yeah. Aren't ready yet.
I think everybody could get there. Maybe some people don't want to, and they won't get there. And maybe some folks have a different idea of what their life is or should be, too. I think sometimes that's drug psychosis and mental illness that causes those things.
Yeah.
Definitely grief. I've talked to a few different people that they lost their father and just never recovered from it.
Yeah.
Never recovered from it, which is mental illness to not be able to recover.
True.
And I've talked to some people that, you know, that they might be addicted, but they got addicted because they were in a car accident or a motorcycle accident and busted up and on meds for a long time. And then when the doctor takes away the meds, the pain's still there. And
multiple reasons. Yeah.
What do they do?
Yeah.
Find the next thing.
Yeah.
So,
you know, and not to interrupt you there, but this is the organic talk. This is beautiful.
This is what I love about us talking, because we do interrupt each other, but we keep going.
Yeah. But there's a multiple of reasons and facets why people end up, but why do they stay? You know, that's the thing is it really, so, and then we talk about hope and we lead into, you know, a lot of times that, you know, everybody has an opportunity, free will, this, that, the other, but there's always hope that they're going to get off the streets, get off the greenway, get out of the bush, you know, from underneath the bridge, whatever, you know, but our hope as human beings is what for them. You know, and that's a great question for anybody that's watching maybe this, but what is our hope for them? Our hope becomes something physical. Our hope becomes something tangible, you know, right?
When you asked that question, I thought, what is my hope for people that are on the street or living out in the woods by themselves. And I just hope that they have some form of redemption that they're proud of and happy with. And, I have my own religious convictions, and I hope in the eyes of our Maker that that's acceptable and happy, and they reach a better place than they had here.
Yeah, yeah, and that is a beautiful answer, and that's where that is a very neutral answer too, right? And I felt that in you. You want to keep it where there's a neutrality.
I want to love them
in that. Yeah,
I want to love them, and sometimes folks that are anybody out there, if you hit the corner of Biddle, or Barnett and Riverside after 9 p.m., you're going to be seeing people running around trying to catch butterflies, scraping stuff out of the cracks of the sidewalk.
I was there last night.
I'm not even joking about it. You can
No,
go there
I
any
know.
night and see 4 or 5 people that are having an absolute conniption, which is like scary for some people to watch. I'm not worried about it. But
Right.
I got to have a great conversation with that guy too. Honestly,
Yeah.
he'll stop for a little bit and put down the butterflies. And I'm joking around a little bit, but I just want hope for him, and I don't know how to give it to him.
Right. Well, and I think, and that's where I feel my sweet spot is.
Yeah.
Now, because when 12 years ago when I started Tailgate Ministries, and also I've been a pastor for many, many years too. But what is a pastor? I just love, sharing the word of God, and that is our truth, ultimately. Truth is we all talk about truth right now, but it's a little bit, it's all in the eyes of the beholder, ultimately, it honestly is. You feel truth about this because of your beliefs and constructs and the way you've been raised. I feel this, and so where does the truth lie? If we, as a Christian, Christ follower, the truth does lie in the scriptures, most of all, but the truth lies not just in the scripture, but in Christ. Yeah. So going back to that spot there on Riverside and Barnett, I was there last night again. I'm there once a month because of a job that I have, right? I get ripped off almost every time. Yeah, and I've had a lot stolen from me over the years, so I really got to be on guard there. But I saw the butterfly catcher, had the other guy come out of the bush and ask me, "Hey, do you have a quarter?" And I said, "No, I don't have a quarter. I got 50 cents."
Easy shock.
And okay. Because when I first said no, he was
so used to hearing no.
Yeah, he was beelining it the other way. But so I have a variety of responses and to see if I can instigate conversation. But the hope that we give, we as individuals, and I've seen that over my years, is we want to give them food. We want to give them feel good. We want to give them taste. We want them to feel what we feel. Peace, love, harmony, all of these things. And so therefore we give them the tangible. But so spirit, soul, and body. If we really focus on spirit, soul, and body instead of body, soul, and spirit typically ends up last in a lot of...
Everybody needs nourishment and clean water and those kind of things. Everybody
absolutely.
In a country like the United States, everybody should have that, without a doubt. But I've bought a sandwich, but somebody asked, I'm like, "Yeah, you're hungry? I'll feed you, absolutely." Sometimes I walked away, kind of regurgitating to myself, why did I do that, and was it for the right reasons? Yeah. And there was a couple of times I thought maybe that would make me feel better. Not the person I was giving it to.
There you go. Yeah.
And I had to rethink that, and that doesn't mean I stopped buying sandwiches or buying people a newspaper when they say they're looking for work and trying them the classifieds and asking them, do you know how to read, or can you read? Do you need glasses or anything? I'd read some with you. And that teach a man to fish thing. But early on, when I was doing that, I was walking away thinking, I wonder if I'm just doing that so that guy isn't constantly be in my mind, and I'm going to be worried about it. At least I helped a little bit, whatever that. It felt like it was for me a few times.
Yeah. It felt a little selfish.
Yeah.
You know what? And sometimes it is, because we do. We just want to. It's one of 6 human needs. We do want to give. We want to have empathy and compassion.
Yeah.
And all that. But yeah. Speaking. One other just brief example of that. So going back to that is this guy outside of that same area. Hey, can I get some food? I'm going into the grocery store there. And, I always do this now. Yeah. Because I want to question myself. If I'm going to give him food, why am I giving him food? Is it to make me feel good for the moment? Is it to pay my penance, my price?
Right.
Do I just need to do my part? Or so kind of listening to the gut, the spirit, moment. And I remember saying, yeah, absolutely, you betcha. What do you want? Let me take your order. Going to the grocery store, you like chicken, you like this, that. He gives me a little list, and I'm like, okay, cool, I'll be out with it. You just wait here, and I come back out. And so, because this is all about this talk right here, all about hope. Right? And so I come back out. I realized I never even saw him.
Didn't know who you were looking for.
Right. I never even saw him. But do I see you even though I'm here sitting in front of you? Do I see you?
Yeah.
Right? So he asked me. I took an order, communicating, but I never really saw him until I come back out, and now my eyes are different. They're open. I see this 90-pound man, dried up, shriveled up, most likely, drug-ridden, etc., with 2 teeth left in his mouth. Now I can fully give a description of this man. Very few scraggly, long hair, and I went to hand him his bag of groceries, and he reaches out with one finger. Because that's all he had on that hand.
Yeah.
Was one finger. And I slided up his arm and gave it to him and had a little conversation with him, circling back around to hope. How do you give, we'll call him Jim, how do you give Jim hope? Has no teeth, shriveled up, drug-ridden, probably going to go around and eat it with his friends and etc. Whatever. Maybe, do whatever he's going to do. No judgment. That's his free will right now. But how do you give him hope? Simply love him, right where he's at. That's really it. Because that is spirit, soul, and body. So the spirit wants you to love, And then the soul is the transformation where maybe they'll have a mindful change, or maybe that moment was just for me to recognize the fact that I had a conversation with somebody, I took an order with somebody, I never saw you.
I had that experience long ago, and I make sure that I never have that experience again because it really bothered me. I was busy with work and that kind of stuff and thinking about a lot of stuff, and I was ordering food at a restaurant. I had sat down. Another guy was coming to meet me, and I ordered some food and a couple of drinks for us, and the waitress came back, and I didn't recognize her. And she said, "That'll be up in just a little bit." And I thought to myself, I cared so little when this person was serving me.
Yeah.
Because I'm caught up in myself and whatever's going on in my life that I didn't even recognize her face. And I looked right at her face when I was making my order. And I don't want to be that guy. I don't want to be that guy. So, if anything, definitely if I'm out buying something or anybody's serving me in any way, I make eye contact. I try to remember their name and those kind of things because they're working hard. It can't be nameless and faceless to me. It made me feel bad.
And then and to recognize the good in people, that's what they want. I sat with a couple this morning, and we spent probably an hour and a half together, and just getting to know one another, and because we just met actually at the car show, and he wanted to get to know me, reached out, and so him and his wife came. They sat, but it was at the end, an hour and a half later, and I said, I just want you to know, to his wife, honestly, that sat there playing on her phone majority of the time, right? Because it wasn't about her, but she was there in full support of him. Right. And it was a beauty. I said, I just want you to know that I see the love and the respect you have for him. And I'm like, and that was a beautiful thing. And even though you're playing on your phone, the look, the glance, the thing that you did was recognizable. But you know what? It meant more to him because thank you for that. He said, sometimes I got to check myself. He was a pastor. And he's like, sometimes I got to check myself because I don't think we're doing very good. Right? I don't think we're doing very good. And for you to see that, but actually bring it out.
Yeah.
And that's what, we need to do that a little more often, of the greatness that are in people. Because people are great, and right now in this turmoil of the rightist, leftists, and the the mask
Sides.
yeah, the
Oh my
sides.
gosh, the sides.
Boy, there's a
Do not want to
conversation.
be on any side at all.
Don't be.
Yeah.
I mean, honestly, you either stand for something.
Marching to my own drum, man.
Yeah, stay in your lane.
Yeah.
Stand for something or you stand for nothing. Though you do have to take a stance in life. But what does that mean? How do you take a stand and still love and respect?
Yeah.
So
In those situations, me and my wife are grabbing a Dutch Bros coffee because we didn't make coffee that day or whatever that is. Usually when somebody has served me, I always look them in the face and say, I appreciate you. Because I don't think servers get that much. I appreciate you. Great coffee, happened fast. It doesn't really matter the service that I got. You're here working and you served me. And I'm pretty sure you need some appreciation. And one day, the Dutch Bros guy that I see all the time handed me my coffee. And I always tip him a couple of bucks. And he said, I appreciate you. And I drove away and my wife said, you taught him that. And I said, what do you mean? I didn't even, I missed it.
Yeah.
And she said, he said, I appreciate you. And you always say that everywhere we go when somebody serves you. And he said it back to you because he was so used to hearing it all the time from you. And I said, oh, well, that's good. Maybe he'll perpetuate that because I just like doing that. It makes me feel good, but I like the smiles people get on their face when they feel appreciated.
our words are seeds.
Hope
Yeah.
is important. This show is about hope.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah, that's beautiful. That's beautiful. I love that. Yeah.
Thank you.
So, yeah. So, but I do want to seriously encourage, because that's how I think this is going to grow. This talk. There's people with questions in life, whether it be maybe it's homelessness. Maybe you got some questions on that. I got a plethora of answers and stories probably I can share. But maybe it's, whatever, relationships, home. Maybe it's actually, is this the end of times?
We could go so far as to say if you need hope and you're looking for hope, you could email us at freedom@southernoregonfirst.com. I'd share that with Chris, and we'd come up with some topics from questions we got about hope.
That would be beautiful. I'd love that.
I think we could probably come up with a story for most situations, too.
Well, I think so. We got a lot of experience in stories.
I could sit here and do this without the camera, and that would be fun.
Yeah. Yes.
We have.
Yeah. So true. So true. Yeah.
Well,
so
I think that was wonderful. I think we should wrap it up, and
okay,
we'll do another one soon.
All right.
Thanks, brother.
Right on, man.